pillow talk. So this is going to be a topic I'm going to bring up a lot. And in fact, a title, it'll be like Pillow Talk, this one, Pillow Talk 2 and 3 and 4 and whatever. But it's about talking about sex, just like maybe even meta sex. Like, what is sex? Why do we call it sex? We're just talking about the idea of it, the ideas that we use to talk about it. So this one specifically is talking about the idea of penetration and some other things. But like, isn't that interesting that we call it that, right? That it's very male focused, very penis focused. And I don't even know where I heard this. Somebody was talking about it on, I don't know where again. But what if it wasn't called penetration, but it was called envelopment or something along those lines, right? It totally changes things. So it's not about this thing going into this thing. It's about this thing absorbing this thing. It just literally changes the feel. Literally, it does do that. And then what constitutes, quote, having sex? Now, if it's a hetero situation, then penetration, we often think that qualifies as having sex, but then there's oral sex, there's anal sex, there's again more penetration. But what about if you're just touching certain parts? Like, what is sex? Or when you think about, oh yeah, we had sex 3 times yesterday, or last night we had sex 3 times. What does that even mean? Like, does that mean sex has to include an orgasm? Does it have to include an ejaculation of some kind? You know, and that's one, check. And somebody had another orgasm, that's 2 times, check. Like, what does that mean? We had sex 3 times or 4 times, or whatever. Just start letting all of those things go, because what is sex? Just stop making it be a checklist. Think about this scenario. What if somebody's doing, let's say, Zoom sex or online sex? Is that cheating? Is sexting cheating? Because if you're saying, well, yeah, if my partner was on a Zoom call and they were doing sex, well, clearly you weren't touching, right? Because it's through Zoom. If it's texting, but it's sexting, well, then you weren't even looking at them. But is that cheating? Is that an intimate act as well? So when you think about cheating, what is really going on here? It's all about intimacy. It's intimacy related to sexual parts, but it's also beyond that, isn't it? Because it could involve kissing. That's not necessarily a sexual part. So what actually is sex? So start thinking about it in those terms, as far as what is it, as far as the labels we're using and how we think about it. So when you're having like, oh, we haven't had sex in, weeks or months. Well, have you done anything else that was sexual or that involved maybe more intimate feelings, things that you did with your partner that you wouldn't do with anyone else because you would view it as cheating or wrong? So broaden the idea and incorporate some of those things into your idea of having sex, of being connected with your partner. And that's what it's about, really, right? It's being vulnerable, being connected, whether it's physical or not. So the idea of sex isn't necessarily what we think it is. So just throwing that out there. If you have any comments, put them below. Otherwise, DM me and I'll make another video on it, which I said I'm going to do anyway on these pillow talks. So other than that, I will see you on the next video.